quick. All right, so for today's class, our learning intention states that we're learning to analyze functions in order to understand relationships between quantities. If you did not hear what I said, then it's on the screen. You could read it as well. It's right down. Success criteria, I will be successful when I can identify key features of a graph, talking about the x-intercept, the y-intercept, when it's increasing, when it's decreasing, when there's a maximum, and when there's a whole minimum. Okay, we're gonna go through all those different things, and then we're gonna go through a Desmos activity. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the whiteboard. All right, say for example, we have a line, right? And we have our axes like normal, y, x. This point right here, oh gosh. That point right there represents, could you go ahead and tell me what that represents? You could put it in the chat and I'll see it. And then also tell me what the blue one represents. So there's the red one and then the blue one. Bam. So the blue circle where that point is, that represents the y-intercept. Remember we talked about the y-intercept? We did. And then the red one represents the x-intercept. X-intercept, y-intercept. Cool. And then now, once we let's talk about the increasing and decreasing. Remember when we're reading graphs, we read from left to right. So if I have a graph that is that way, and I'm going from left to right, okay, left to right. How do you say that in Spanish? La izquierda to derecha, to the right, period. All right, so left to right, that is decreasing. All right, if I go right to left, it's going to tell me increasing, and that's what I don't want to do. Left to right is going to tell me decreasing, and similarly for this other graph, period. Big dots. If I go left to right, this one is increasing. All right, so that's how we address if a graph is increasing or decreasing. Okay. These notes are going to be posted as well so that you have access to it. The next thing we're going to look at resume recording. So for example, we have another graph. Bam. And we know that's a nonlinear function. That right there is a nonlinear function. It's a quadratic. Remember we've talked about quadratic. With this graph, it has a maximum. The maximum point for this graph is right there up top. I'm trying to put a dot right there, but that dot represents the maximum, period. That's that. And then we can also have a minimum. Let me draw my graph again. This is a perfect example of a minimum right there. I want you to also realize that that turning point might also be a constant. So it's not necessarily increasing or decreasing, it's changing its direction. So if we look at this graph, we realize that it's decreasing and then it becomes kind of like flat at the bottom right there, and then it starts going up. But that's how you address the maximum, minimum. What were the other ones? Let's go back to the success criteria. Identifying x-intercept, y-intercept, increasing, decreasing, maximum, minimum, period, and that's it. All right.